I
was about to say.
so we're like right on time. Cool.
Yes. So hello, Delvers, and welcome back to the Pixelscopic live stream for April 10th, 2015. Yep. Pixelscopic is an indie game development studio working on Delver's Drop, a combat-focused, randomly generated action RPG. I'm your host and longtime streamer of the game, Vasse. Here to discuss development is...
I'm Ryan Baker. I'm an artist and the creative director of sorts on the game. And this week we're going to be working on familiars again, or sprites, as I have more recently decided to call them. So they're basically little kind of familiar spirits that float around and help out your player. They're also going to be the means by which at some point, probably kind of post-release, or at least like post-early access, people will be able to play a second player, like two-player mode. So the main player would control the Delver and have equipment and all that, and the second player could kind of hop in, you know, like drop in, drop out, co-op to control a familiar spirit to help them out. So yeah, we're basically just moving along with what we did last week. So I guess to kind of recap, we're basing these mostly on mythological creatures and creatures of legend and so on, but trying to come up with a slightly unique take on them. So we've got a siren, which is kind of this fish bird woman thing, and a Maneki Neko, the fortune cat of sorts. We put him in a bag as a subtle Schrodinger's cat reference. And then we've got a bar guest, which apparently made noises like rattling chairs, and so I gave him a body that's sort of like a little wooden stool kind of thing. And then a kappa, Japanese turtle demon thing. And so each of these is a combination of two elements. So we're so like water and metal is the kappa, and we had said Mrk and Fury, but I think I'm going to switch that to Grim and Fury for the bar guest, and so on. So right now I'm working on a Wolver, which is, I'm just going to write the common names for most of these elements, rather than the lore name of sorts. So this would be Shiver and Mantle, but so Ice and Earth, and just kind of easier to deal with. So, yeah, I was just looking up again what a Wolver is, because I feel like I read something really cool about it a while back, and now I forgot what the deal is. So it's sort of a half, like it has a wolf's head but a man's body, but it's not a werewolf, it's just like a being. Wikipedia says sort of an immortal spirit. And I feel like there was, okay, so his home was a cave dug out of the side of a steep, something halfway up a hill. He didn't molest folk, and if folk didn't molest him, he was fond of fishing. A small rock in deep water. Okay, so a small rock in deep water, which I guess comes up above the surface, is actually still called, or at least in this lore writing, was called a Wolver's Stain, S-T-A-N-E. He would sit fishing, and so we've got to do something with him fishing, since apparently this creature fished in mythology.
You should, like, give him one of those fishing hats. I don't know what they're called. The one that with all the lures on it.
Oh, yeah. It also says that he was reported to have frequently left a few fish on the windowsills of poor people. So that could be kind of cool if he actually, like, drops food for you. Like, that's part of his benefit. Like, maybe he attacks enemies, but periodically drops fish that you can eat to heal yourself. So kind of
You should also put a fish in his mouth, like a koi fish. Since we are using a little bit of, I guess, Eastern influence on some of these.
Yeah, I kind of like adding a little bit of, Eastern or just any, like, cultural influence. And this is, I think, Scottish. Yeah, Scottish.
Doom says make the wolf on stilts.
Because he's
that
fishing,
might be a little,
or?
yeah, because he's fishing. That might be a little like the Bargus, but then again, it's another kind of like wolf creature. So maybe the wolf creatures just kind of have like furniture for bodies.
Well, I was trying to figure out, like, how could we, I mean, maybe we just do the hat, but I was trying to figure out how we give him, like, a fishing pole or something.
Yeah, I like the hat idea. I think that'd be pretty cute. Same with the fish in the mouth. I think that'd work. I don't know. You could, I guess, trying to think of a good way of putting like a nice fishing rod somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we can just do something with. Maybe he's got like earrings that are actually fish hooks or something. That might be kind of weird, but could do something cool with it. Like, it might make him a little more funky and interesting. I feel like he looks a little too mean though. I'm gonna make his eyes a little more friendly. I don't want him to look like a puppy dog necessarily, so.
Doom says hook hands, but that makes me think that he might be like really scary. You saw
like
some
Edward Scissorhands, except he fishes.
Yeah. Just wouldn't want to see like a floating wolf head with gigantic fishing hooks for hands. That'd be pretty scary.
I'm just imagining like he's just got these big like furry arms with like
tiny little fishing hook hands, fingers.
Yeah. And then like some of these have fish like skewered on them or worms.
Yeah. Definitely pretty creepy. I think adding the
And then he's got big galoshes or like waders on. He's got waders with the suspenders.
Yeah, that looks terrifying right there.
It's kind of awesome though.
Yeah. Probably a little too big.
So if we ever make a different kind of like crazy fantasy game, I think we should do this for all the enemies. Like, it's a wolf, but he has hook hands and galoshes. Like,
yeah.
And just like go to town with it. It would. I mean, maybe we should have done something that silly with Delvers, but I like for the world to be believable, maybe to a fault. But yeah, I'm gonna try the hooks in the ears here because well, if I do a hat, I'm trying to figure out like how.
Matthew says we should do the Wendigo.
Because those hats look like this kind of, which is a little hard to draw from the top-down perspective.
I think we should work on the Fury Surge Companion.
Are you talking about next?
Yeah, although Matthew and Doom say we should work on the Wendigo as well.
Refresh my memory as to what a Wendigo even is. I've totally blanked out.
Is Matthew listening in?
I'm sure Matthew can. Well, he's got his headphones on. I don't know if he's. I think he's probably just listening to the stream. I don't know.
Demonic half-beast appearing in Algonquin people's legends of the Atlantic coast and Great Lakes region in the United States and Canada. The creature or spirit could either possess characteristics of a human or a monster that is physically transformed from a person. It is particularly associated with cannibalism. The Algonquin believed those who indulge in eating human flesh were at particular risk. The description is: gone to the point of emaciation, its desiccated skin pulled tautly over its bones, with its bones pushing out against its skin. Its complexion the ash gray of death, and its eyes pushed back deep in their sockets. The Wendigo looks like a gaunt skeleton recently disted from the grave, with what lips it had were tattered and bloody. Unclean and suffering from surges of the flesh, the Wendigo gave off a strange and eerie odor of decay and composition of death and corruption. Although I think modern terms it's more like a Yeti.
Okay, because for some reason I was thinking of something totally different. Hey Matt, why are you so excited about the Wendigo again?
Oh, maybe.
Okay,
maybe
I'll make it cute as shit. We'll cute it up.
But a good Wendigo needs antlers. Yeah, there's the I think Matthew's more on the actual like big scary walking corpse thing, whereas Doom seems to be on the not necessarily American Sasquatch, which is another big one. A lot of the native people's legends are pretty pants-shittingly terrifying. Especially around the Great Lakes region. Not that there's many of those tribes left in said region, but the legends remain. You can't kill legends. or so they say. You should also tweet out that you guys are streaming.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to do that. Matt, would you mind tweeting that we're live? I recently brought on sort of an office assistant, office manager.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is she's she's like very, very part-time. She just kind of helps me do payroll and stuff. But she's not in on Fridays, or I would probably just have her do that stuff. So maybe at some point, if I can get enough hours for her that she can do that instead of her other job on Fridays, then I'll probably have her take care of some of it. But
it's not a bad idea. I could do it too. I usually tweet off of my my Twitch or my Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, we can take care of it. I think it's always like I'm always like, oh crap, it's 2:30, and then I start prepping the audio stuff and everything, because that's kind of a hassle. So
it wouldn't be if you used a PC.
Yeah, well, and speaking of which, I guess I already told you, but I'm probably going to be bringing my home computer up to the office, which I've pretty much, well, I guess the people on the forums know I built a PC, or rather had Kurt, our animator, help me build a PC over Christmas. It's it's supposed to be a like dual boot Hackintosh, but I still haven't bothered to install Mac OS on it. So it kind of defeats the purpose. But I mean, it's a good, decently spec'd PC. And I'm pretty much like I'm done with buying Macs unless I'm just gonna buy like a laptop. I mean, because they do make really nice, sexy laptops. But from here on out, I mean, because they've locked down so much with the new Mac Pro and the iMacs and everything else, like you cannot customize them, upgrade them hardly without like it's becoming harder to do any upgrades without like potentially like actually destroying the machine, because like Matt's iMac, I think you have to like suction cup the screen off of it to modify anything in there, and that's just not something I want to mess with. So yeah, I've pretty much switched to Hackintoshes or dual boots from here to the foreseeable future. Because I mean, I'm not even that much of kind of a PC gearhead, but I have, I for the life of any computer I've had, I like swap out hard drives, add hard drives, add RAM, all of that kind of stuff. And it's just ridiculous to me that, I mean, I guess they're building in what's the term, something or other obsolescence, like where you planned obsolescence.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely becoming more and more the Apple model, and I'm definitely not a fan of that as a business model, or like I try not to buy things that way. Where they will be obsolete.
It's been going like that since the 1990s. So, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but I mean that's just, I guess that's just the reason that I'm building Hackintoshes in the future, because I'd still prefer to work on a Mac for. I mean, it's becoming like there's less and less of a reason to be on one or the other, at least for me. But there's still just some nice things that are kind of built into the Mac OS that let me do stuff way quicker. Just like, like I'm going to expose all of my screens and like switch to this one, like with a click of a mouse button. I know that probably just looks super glitchy on Twitch, but makes my life a lot easier. And I've added some plugins and stuff to Windows on my home computer to make some of that stuff easier, and but it's still just not quite the same.
Yeah, Doom says, "Yay, demacked Baker. Welcome to the PC master race."
Yeah. I mean, really, just like if Windows would just hire some better graphic designers or UI UX designers or something, like and just step up their game a little bit, I would probably just completely switch to Windows. But it's like they just don't think about, like, it feels like Metro, they thought, I mean, yeah, they were thinking about, like, it's just always cart before the horse. Like, they need to come up with like a very good user experience, and then I think maybe decide how to get that on mobile, versus like, oh, like this is what we want our mobile interface to look like, so let's just like freaking put that on everything on your desktop that doesn't have a touch display, and then we're going to pop up warning messages every time you try to use your machine that like force you to swipe even though I'm not on a touch screen. Like, oh my gosh.
So not to change topic here.
Yeah, go
really
and change
quickly.
topic so I'll stop ranting about computers.
Whatever you did caused Skype the Skype window that you have up for me to mess up, so now they're just seeing like 1/7 of my face.
That's weird.
It looks fine on everything that I'm seeing. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to fix that.
Yeah, I can try to recall and pray that doesn't break things.
Well, I got slightly more in the...
Oh, there you go. It seems to be back. Nope, never mind. Now it's even more.
Yeah, well... yeah, just hang up and call me back. Hopefully it'll
sure.
relaunch. See you, Kyle.
Alright, we'll see here in 30 seconds if that worked.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that little window to... no, it apparently did not, so we can... Yeah, I can still only see the top of your head.
Yep. Alright, well I'll just put up my logo. It's all good. There are ways to fix this.
Yeah, I'm just going to like drag it off the edge of the screen here because I think it's an OBS issue where like since we whatever I did, like OBS now just doesn't want to recognize that window. Or
yeah, it's cool.
Anyway. Oops. Okay, yeah, I'll just hide that. Sorry.
Oh, it's cool.
Sorry for all those Kyle fans out there. You can still hear his voice, but he will be invisible for the rest of the stream.
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay, so how do we feel about this this Wolver?
I like it.
I kind of wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, and I just now looked at it again. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool looking. He probably still needs something else, like in his hat, like maybe a little feather or something. I don't know.
You should have anglers dropping down. I don't know how you'd do that well.
Like more hooks?
Yeah, things like that.
Let me look up one of those like fisherman's hats, because I kind of know what they look like, but...
I can send you some pictures if you want some references.
Yeah, I guess we're talking about this with the lures. Oh yeah, I could do one of the little like... I forget what these are called. I used to go fishing with my dad a decent bit, but the lures with the kind of the bobber.
Yeah, I don't know. I was never a big fisher. Yep, you got it. Exactly.
And I guess the feathers I'm thinking of are actually the little feathers that they attach to make it look like some kind of insect with wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to get too detailed, but we'll try doing something here.
Well, I'm gonna go grab a drink of water here real fast.
Okay, well since you're invisible, you can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know, this is just tricky. Because you have to make them, like basically I need to make it this big. I mean, that's not bad.
We don't want the stream to become like Hollow Man. Did you ever see that movie with Kevin Bacon?
You know, I'm not sure. I think probably not. I know of the movie, I guess, but I don't have any recollection of it, so I guess I haven't seen it.
I like that movie. It's really bad.
So I'm having a little trouble with getting this lure to work out.
I think it looks good. The hooks look a little, I guess, a little funky.
I may just do that sort of thing.
I think it looks pretty cute.
Yeah, I may just do the one, because I'm just afraid, like, these guys are going to be so small already. If I put too small details on his head, it's definitely not really going to be visible. So I could do maybe some kind of little feather thing.
Is there a fish food item planned?
Originally no, but I think that's kind of cool. I mean, I guess it's sort of like Torchlight, you know, they're the fish that you can eat or feed to your pet or whatever.
Yeah, but you actually have to fish them out, which isn't quite so cool.
Yeah, this would be, I mean, it would probably be just kind of like, as you break chests, you find, you know, random kind of food stockpiles that people have left behind. That's kind of how I would think of it anyway.
Did you play Torchlight 2?
Yeah, I started Torchlight 2. I don't know how far in. Probably like 8 hours or something, maybe.
I liked it. I beat it.
Less than that.
I think I beat it with three of the characters.
Oh wow, you 3 times?
Yeah, I've beaten it more than 3 times, but I've beaten it with 3 of the characters. Yeah, I think I've beat the game like 5 or 6 times.
Oh wow. I think I liked Torchlight 1 better for some reason. It's this weird, I mean, it's actually the Borderlands effect too for me. Like, I kind of like the first game in these series where everything feels more desolate, and then the second game they have more money and they make the environments more fancy and all this, but the experience is not as solitary and kind of like Borderlands when you're just exploring these, you know, weird like desert planet areas. Like, it's so just like it's got this certain mood, like you're literally exploring like this, you know, desert planet that, you know, might have some random crazies out in the wilderness here, but you know, otherwise it feels kind of uninhabited, unexplored. But then you know, Borderlands 2, and I would say the same thing about Torchlight 2 to some degree, is like everything feels like it's just kind of, you know, they add more unique environments, I guess. Like, you know, a lot of the Borderlands 2 in the beginning is in this ice area on Pandora, but it feels more like, it feels more lush, but therefore feels less lonely or something, for lack of a better way to put it. And it just lost some of the charm for me, or some of the, you know, what I went to that experience for. Like, I feel less like I'm exploring you know, exploring some kind of wasteland, and more like I'm kind of traipsing through like a, you know, something that an artist designed. Because because they're like, well, we're sick of desert, let's make a snow planet, because that's the farthest thing from desert that we can do. And it just felt weird. I guess also I never really thought that Pandora, like, I thought of it as more of a desert planet. And yeah, there were some icy areas, but there wasn't like, you know, tundra or kind of...
Well, at least in the storyline it got more icy because of the opening of the first vault.
Oh, okay, I guess I did not catch that part.
Yeah, what's his name? Claptrap mentions the ice shelf descending down from the polar region because of the iridium. Doom says he should have just one hook in the ear instead of both ears, so it's not quite so symmetrical.
Yeah, well then I'm afraid he's gonna feel kind of imbalanced. Like, if I remove that, it feels... I mean, I kind of... Well, I've got a backup copy here. I kind of feel like that it might be better just without the hooks, or with like smaller versions of the hooks on the hat, or something like that.
Dumal says, the world simply is rough, where bigger sequels get plagued by, oh look, here we added something special, where in the first one of these things are just there. So I guess he's saying in earlier games the special stuff is really special because everything else is so rough and desolate, whereas they're not special anymore. It's just it's obvious that they're putting it there to be special.
Well, and I think, I mean, you see this in a lot of movies, like like the Aliens movies. You know, the first one felt like, well, and even like, you know, the old original Star Wars movies versus the prequel trilogy. You know, things like that, where like things that. And I don't know how you recreate it. Like, artists always want to make things fancier, but it just seems like what comes out of just the rough charm of the first kind of movie or game so many times is like it creates this ambiance just through the roughness or kind of inability to achieve certain things that can't be easily replicated by, you know, trying to do that, and then they just kind of ruin it by making it too fancy. I mean, Star Wars is probably the biggest example, where like the Star Wars experience for me, kind of as a kid and even just going back to it, so much of it has to do with just like the feel of, I mean, the fact that they used models rather than, you know, CG spaceships. Like, it just felt like it's this very particular experience. Like, I wish I would have been fine with them redoing the ships in CG. I mean, maybe not at the time that they did it, because they definitely look like old school CG, like, you know, kind of unrealistic, uncanny valley CG now. But like, what if, you know, at this point people do good enough work in CG that they could redo those scenes with new special effects and stuff, but make the ships look exactly like they looked as models originally. Like, you could do that in 3D. Like, people do stuff like that. Just give it that like rough, dirty charm. And, you know, and obviously the prequel movies like had pretty much zero rough, dirty charm. Kind of even on Tatooine to some degree. So.
Yeah, I guess there's always a move to make things look cleaner and neater and nicer.
Yeah.
I don't know why that would be, but I guess it's just the aesthetics of the age. Don't know. I'm not an artist, so it's kind of a domain that I don't tread. I just like things that look nice and let people who know how to do that work do the work, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, well, I know, like, I have the tendency to overdo things quite a bit too, and like, okay, so here's an example, is like the character sketches that I did for all the different classes that we've shown them several times, but it's like the lineup of just like very kind of roughly doodled, like basically no detail versions of all the character classes. That has a kind of cool, rough charm that I know Matt and Nathan have both independently said, man, I wish we could make a game that looks like that. And it's like that, you know, what I sort of doodled and just stumbled upon accidentally in some ways is better than, you know, what I spent weeks or months developing in the, you know, Delver's art style. And even since we started the game has developed some. I mean, I do think where we're at now is better than where this game started. But I think like something way rougher could have been, well, it would have been easier to do, but also would have had like a unique charm.
Well, I'm biased when it comes to Delver's Drop. I think it has a nice charm and is unique. But I don't know if it's rough. I don't think it feels rough. I think most things feel pretty smooth and crisp.
Yeah,
but I think that's...
I mean, yeah, if you look at the character, like, I think the crispness does like really contribute to the style, but I mean, I probably should have gone with fewer color numbers, like sort of simplified. And I made some updates to the Beastkeeper, which aren't all in game yet, but I'm going to be kind of carrying that through to the Elementalist and the other couple characters that we have left to do, where I'm trying to like artfully simplify in a couple of ways where, and you know, I think some people would be like, well, why don't you just do it simpler to begin with? And you know, I think sometimes like you're trying to achieve something and you just, it's almost like you can't see the kind of simplicity that it needed until you sort of do it a bunch. Like, you know, I've drawn tons and tons of Delver stuff, And, I was trying to keep the color numbers simple, but sort of like just enough, but not too much. And I think I went like one too many. But the problem was I think at the time, like, back when we started this, I wasn't skilled enough with kind of color and just some painting stuff that I've learned, over the last couple of years. Like, I wasn't skilled enough to see the right solution for doing it simpler. And so, yeah, I could have done it simpler, but I think it would have looked worse at that time. But now I can, like, it's sort of like once you master certain things, you can actually achieve, well, I mean, like, look at Picasso, and, like, he started out, like, when he was a teenager painting these amazing, just, like, he did this realistic portrait of his sister taking communion. So let me just pull that up really quick. Because I talk about this a lot.
So you're saying, as an artist, the better you get at the less abstract, the better you get at being able to bring things more abstract.
Yeah, it's like you can achieve more with less, I guess. And sorry if I hope I didn't screw up the stream again. I tried going full screen, but so yeah, I mean, Picasso did this. I mean, I want to say he was like 14 or something when he painted this picture. I wish I had a slightly bigger version, but I mean, it's amazing. Like, I can't paint this well still, and I'm, however old I am, couldn't paint this well when I was in school, and he's like, would have been in like sort of junior high age. I mean, this is where he started, and I don't always like Picasso's later work, but he, I think, over time realized, like, he mastered certain techniques of just like abstract shape and color so much that he realized, like, he could do more with less. But could he have started there? Like, no. It would have, he probably could have painted something that looked sort of that would have looked simplified, but it wouldn't have had the sort of solidity or just like tightness of composition that his later work would have. So sometimes you have to go through that process and do things a more complicated way and kind of master and like see like what does and doesn't work in the more complicated version before you can kind of go back and do it simpler.
That makes sense. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
As a non-artist. I like the color scheme you're using for the Wolver.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to add some other colors in here. Like a lot of those fishing hats are kind of yellow or tan, but I'm trying to keep it just subtle enough that he kind of remains in the like ice and earth. Although I wonder if we should make him. I wonder if ice and earth actually makes sense anymore. I think I had picked ice and earth originally because he lived in the side of a hill, kind of and had this rock in the middle of a lake. So maybe that still kind of makes sense, but he seems water related since he's got the fishing stuff.
I'd say Surge probably seems like a better fit at this point.
Yeah, but I don't want to do ice and Surge, because wouldn't that just be like a I don't know. Like every other combination I'm thinking of, it's like, well, ice and Surge, you would want like literally some kind of ice monster, right? Something, or like an ice fish thing. So I mean, we can revisit it. I can easily like change his colors or something if we need to.
I still really love that Barghest.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I mean, all of these are pretty fun. I still feel like the Maneki Neko might be the weakest. And well, we also struggled with what elements go together to make it.
Yeah.
Which made me wonder, like, since we picked Arcane, which I think still kind of makes sense. I wonder if I should make some elements pink.
The ears, so the inner ear should be pink.
Yeah.
Typically they're white and pink, but with Splendor you put them gold.
Yeah. That actually looks pretty good. I like that better.
Could also do the eyes. Oh yeah, the collar.
Yeah, the eyes are a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely should make the cup a little darker, for sure.
Yeah, it does. It does look like the same color as the bib, kind of.
Yeah.
I could just go brighter with the bib too.
I think it actually looks really good. And I think I think still people want to see the Wendigo next. I should, let me pull up that master sheet and see if we can get some polls from the audience to see what they want to see next.
Well, we can go with the Wendigo. I'm fine with that.
Okay, but I guess I should say for people in chat, if you guys want to see a particular monster done in this style, then feel free to shout it out. Audience participation is welcome. The Wendigo is a good one to go with. That should definitely be Echo Merc, since it's kind of like an undead thing.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine, just from where did this monster originate from? I imagine it just came from recently deceased corpses.
Well, and I mean, we're being a little like fast and loose with the like mythological origins. Like I
just meant like in real life. I don't mean necessarily the game.
Yeah, because I mean, just to reiterate for people who maybe didn't see last week or who've forgotten, like these spirits are just kind of like random kind of spiritual manifestations of like elemental combinations. So they're kind of just like little like elemental spirit critters. Like they don't have like a huge significance in the lore, or no specific one of these has a huge significance in the lore. They're just kind of like, well, you mix some ice and earth together and infuse it with a little bit of spirit, and here, it creates this critter. So yeah, I mean, maybe that's a little weak, but so we might come up with a little more kind of their origin, like, if one of the gods kind of created the opportunity for these little spirits to kind of manifest as creatures. But
when you guys do your next game called Bakermon, we'll come up with a better storyline for them.
Okay.
That's the colloquialism that we're going with, by the way.
Bakermon, like Pokemon?
Bakermon. Yeah, but the portmanteau with Baker and Pokemon.
Okay. Okay, so what did you say again? You wanted to do Merc?
Well, I think Merc Echo makes sense for kind of this spirit undead. But yeah, I was just thinking, like in real life, where did this monster come from? The fact that its lips are kind of rotted / eaten away. Obviously, I mean, lips are one of the easiest and the fleshiest parts that little animals. When's Bakermon due out? Who knows? Soon, hopefully.
If you donate money to my bank account, it will come sooner.
Yeah. Don't buy Delver's Drop today, and Bakermon will be out soon. How's that? Yeah, that one definitely. The one with like the emaciated deer was pretty good.
So, I didn't read the description, so sorry, refresh my memory. It's kind of like, it's got antlers, but it's a Sasquatch kinda?
Well, there's various forms. Most of them are just humans with like partial animal mixed in. They never specify if it's just a deer. I suppose since it's in the Great Lakes region, deer would probably be one of the things that they'd go with.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, wolf. I'd always imagine like wolf and stuff like that. Yeah, deer doesn't really evoke to me a monster that's gonna eat you in the night. Many different legends for Wendigo. Yeah. No, they originate from a vast amount of tribes across the Great Lakes region. So you're going to get differences, and of course, there's also the people who think it's more like a Yeti monster, which is more of a modern interpretation of the Wendigo. So
I'm going to read the description here really fast to see if any other details stand out. Cannibalism, eating human flesh.
Yeah.
Let's see. associated with winter, the north, coldness, famine, starvation. Gaunt to the point of emaciation. Bones pushing out against the skin. Complexion of gray. Death. Eyes deep in the socket. So maybe it just has kind of holes for eyes. Looks like a skeleton, or disinterred from the grave.
And that's probably where the legend came from to begin with.
So it says here, also said to be giants, many times larger than humans, grow in proportion to how much they ate. So it could be gluttonous.
Yeah.
So is there anything in here about the deer antler stuff? Because I was expecting a little more description.
It's just the fact that they have like animalistic aspects, and a lot of people just, again, since they're from the Great Lakes tribes that existed back in those days, deer is definitely a totem animal. If you've ever been to Ohio or Pennsylvania, you know that deer are a constant issue. So I think it's just one of those things that's become iconic to the creature in modern times, is that they're kind of like this wolf, deer, humanoid beast.
So down here it says in a certain language, they think it probably originated from the term owl or mint owl.
Okay, I didn't read that far. That's interesting. I have the page still up. I should probably have.
I'm looking for antler and not coming up with anything, so I guess at least Wikipedia doesn't have anything about them. But I mean, that's one of the more potent and kind of unique things, is like having some kind of antlers. But this is probably going to end up looking like something out of Binding of Isaac.
Horned owl ghoul looking thing. I like the idea of a antlered owl like thing. Doom is shouting antlers at me, so I think you're locked in on antlers.
Well, I'm thinking of, there's some owl with antlers. I think it was the Penny Arcade. What's the thing? It's like Fantasy Boy Scouts. that comic that they did. I
really like that one. I don't remember the name of the...
Yeah, why do I always forget? Someone in chat can probably tell us, but
it's
the Lookouts.
Yeah, I just got it. The Lookouts.
I always think like the watch something. Like I always forget Lookouts. What's that? Thorn watches the world.
Let's see if I can pull that up and put a link.
Sorry, I'm trying to look up pictures of owls, because owls are kind of like weirdly hard to draw for me unless I look at like something about the proportions in the beak. I kind of never get right if I just try to do them off the top of my head.
Actually, it should be Merc Howl. Since we're going more of an animalistic thing. And yeah, people are saying Moonkins from WoW. And yeah, Moonkin are just owlbears with antlers, so. But yeah, Merc Howl makes more sense.
Wait, what was someone saying? Merc and Howl?
That's what I was saying, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Since we're going more bestial and less spirit, I think it makes sense.
But then I start wondering, like, well, since we're talking about like kind of dead creatures or corpses, like, should it have some reference to Grim? Like, should it be Grim and Howl? But I mean, yeah, we just, I think I'm fine with going back and changing any of these colors, but we probably need to do an audit of that. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh no, go ahead, and I'll say after.
We probably need to go through that sheet. I haven't really done much cleanup on kind of what creature is what elements and so on.
Yeah, maybe we can sit down next week sometime over Skype and look through it.
Yeah.
So I added a lot to that list the other day, and I was going to add more tonight.
Yeah, if anyone on the in the chat or watching the stream has ideas for some mythological creature or something that you'd like to see as one of the familiars, then let us know. Post it or post the name of the mythological creature and kind of what elements you think would work.
So I'll take this opportunity, I guess, as forum moderator. We do have a forum that you guys can go to. I'm going to post the link in the chat. I will make a thread sometime today if you guys have ideas and want to continue to, I guess, interact with both the stream and the game. That will be a good place for you guys to post those. And if you want to know more about the lore and, I guess, the state of the game, the forums are just a really good place to go. Not that I'm biased. Give me something to do other than ban Russian spam bots, please.
You said they got worse recently, huh?
Oh my god, they're getting smarter. We're reaching the singularity. It's pretty funny. At first it was just random letters and numbers, and I was like, okay, and they were all on the same IP. So I was like, okay, I know this is just a spam bot. Then they started using different IPs. I was like, okay, they're getting a little bit more sophisticated. Then they started using first name, last name, which they're still kind of doing, but every once in a while it'll be typical average, regular fantasy forum goer name, and I'll actually have to sift through and look at where their IP is coming out of. Yandex is the really big one. And anything with .ru, I'm instantly suspicious of at this point. But yeah, the forums are a cool place. A lot of really interesting discussion on there. And we have a chat box so people can talk in real time with other people interested in the game. And I imagine if you guys are here at the stream, you're interested in the game. And speaking of the game, you can actually purchase it right now off the Humble Store at delversdrop.com/buy. And you'll be able to play it immediately. And you'll get updates regularly. And it'll eventually be on Steam.
Yeah, we're still talking about doing some kind of early access. Well, not really sure when, but hopefully sooner than later. For Kickstarter backers, we'll probably let them play it on Steam earlier before it's ready for early access, just for kind of convenience sake. But there are some kind of hoops we have to jump through to just get it all online, get it all kind of checked out. Check all of our boxes and make sure it's Steam ready. And we're also just trying to do a newer, better builds to put up there.
And for those who don't know what Delver's Drop, it is an action RPG game. I think the best way to put it is it's like Zelda, but just the temples, none of the overworld stuff. So it's just the puzzles and the boss fights, and I guess at least for me, what I enjoy about Zelda the most being the temples, mixed with a little bit of Dark Souls and Borderlands, which is the reason why we talk about Borderlands so much.
Yeah, I kind of like Borderlands weapons trending toward Dark Souls combat with a look that is kind of slightly darker, linked to the past in high res.
Mm-hmm.
And then some kind of Binding of Isaac randomization a little bit. So those are that's a pretty good comparison chart. If you put all those games together and shake them up, and spit something out, then hopefully that would be Delver's Drop.
And the game is unique in that it has a physics system. I don't think I know of any, roguelike that has a physics system.
I think Binding of Isaac manages to feel somewhat physicsy in the way the character moves, but that's kind of the extent of it. Where we are building in kind of realistic knockback from weapons and things like that.
Binding of Isaac has a facsimile of that, but it's very loose.
Mm-hmm.
It tries to feel, like you said, it really does try to feel like there's a physics system and some of the enemies sliding about, and even your own control, but it doesn't really quite get there. I'd probably like it a lot less if it tried to go full physics, because I don't think it'd work. Especially coming from the original Binding of Isaac to Rebirth.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I will say that the physics stuff is probably the one thing that has worked the least well for us over time. Like, it's caused us to, we just have to kind of fight with the game and the programming sometimes to get things to work. To the point that we're actually, I probably mentioned it a couple times, but we're redoing some of the physics a bit. Like, actually, well, basically, Kobe did a lot of research and stuff when we started out, and I think built something that was maybe a little too realistic. So it's, it basically had stuff built in to where you could do, like, kind of box 2D style, like Incredipede or Fantastic Contraption or whatever that game is, where you kind of build machines that kind of move around based on physics.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, Angry Birds or something like that has a physics system that controls the blocks and how they tip over and whatnot. So, we built a system that had some of that built in, but we can't rotate our boxes because they aren't 3D, and they also aren't pure side or pure top-down perspective. So I think if we had done pure top-down, we probably would have let pieces of the boxes and things rotate realistically. But since we don't allow that, some of that system is overkill, so we're kind of like stripping out part of that because it should improve performance, since it's essentially something that is kind of set up to check for but doesn't use. That's probably a really bad explanation, but anyway.
That thing looks freaking horrifying, by the way.
Yeah, I was about to ask everyone how they felt about this. Matt, is this creepy enough? Oh, you don't have the stream up? Yeah, what do you think about that?
Ryo Coons does very ghoulish and yet animalistic.
What's that, Matt?
I'm not really scared.
You're not. Well, do you need like a baby's arm hanging out of its mouth or something? I mean.
Oh, Matthew,
you
hard
considered
out.
it, but
I wouldn't want to meet it in a dark dungeon. Yeah, seriously.
What'd you say?
So one of the chatters, Ryo Coons, says I wouldn't want to meet it in a dark dungeon. Hell no, I wouldn't want to see that popping out of the darkness.
So Matt, what?
Oh, sorry.
Well, no, Matt isn't impressed. I'm not sure why yet.
He is like making sort of a grinning face.
Making a grinning face. It's a death grin, dude.
Is that a grin? It just looks like doesn't have any lips. What is Matthew talking about? He's crazy. Drool or meat strips hanging from his mouth. I don't. How gruesome do you want this thing to go?
Yeah, I mean, maybe if I make it look a little more like a jawbone.
Yeah, that definitely looks creepier. Much less like a grin.
Oh, I guess my music stopped. Oops.
I never hear it, so.
I try to set it up so that it loops, but for some reason I must have done something wrong.
Technical issues are the hallmark of the Pixelscopic streams.
Oh, don't say that.
Don't say it. I'm trying to ward it away. It was a joke. It wasn't serious. We never have problems.
Well, that's not even a technical problem. That's just me not knowing what they keep changing iTunes, and every time they change it, I'm like, oh my gosh, you made it worse. And now I don't know where the not shuffle, but the like loop button is.
Mm-hmm.
There. So I got it to show up. Like, I mean, here's the symbol, but it wasn't there a minute ago. I had to go to controls and repeat and there.
Hopefully it's playing again.
Yeah.
If you want some really good, I guess, creepy artwork, Del Toro does a lot of really cool creepy monster design.
Guillermo?
Yeah, Guillermo Del Toro. I actually think his monster design is really cool.
Does he do it himself, or does...
I'm pretty sure he has a pretty big hand in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, he's not just a director. I'm pretty sure he designed a lot of the monsters for the Hellboy series, which I like those movies. I really like Hellboy 1 and 2. I think Hellboy 2 is way better than 1, though. Think 1 was just kind of bland. I think they
were
really
both kind of weird for me, and I mean I was a fan of the comics.
Yeah, it's hard to translate the comics into a family-friendly movie, though.
Yeah, well, but it just feels like it always felt a little too. I mean, it felt more like a superhero movie than, I mean, which Hellboy, like the comic, is not a superhero comic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wish they had gotten more into like his origin story, and you know, maybe they wanted to eventually or whatever. But like it's.
There's gonna be a third movie that's gonna go into his origin story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, I just think all the stuff with like the Nazis and the ancient. I mean, they did some of the ancient technology, but I felt like it was. I don't know. It's again kind of like over the top syndrome. It's like, oh, we want to do all this cool stuff and you know have this battle on a big rotating platform. Just like, you guys, calm down.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely billed as a superhero movie. Both of them were, for sure. Not quite a cult. I don't even know what you'd call that.
I kind of feel like this guy, he needs some ice element, I think. I don't know if it should be ice and howl or ice and something
You think it should be Shiver Howl instead of Murk Howl?
Maybe. I just, you know, I think seeing those other images of Wendigo creatures online, and it seems like for what I'm trying to do is like this, you know, frozen kind of desiccated corpse monster. It needs something icy.
Make his antlers icicles. Make the antlers out of icicles.
Yeah, could do that. I'm trying to rewind here
Teeth,
for a
maybe,
second, but...
maybe his teeth too. Apparently I yelled something. I didn't yell anything. I don't know. Doom said I yelled something, but I don't raise my voice. I think he's being crazy. Alright, something just cut out, I guess. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think everything's fine.
Okay, just making sure. I like the eyes that you have for him. I think those are pretty creepy.
Yeah, definitely Binding of Isaac style, like little eye sockets. Like little creepy baby doll eye sockets.
Yeah. I like the, I guess, updated graphics that they put in for Rebirth. I spend too much time on that game. I've come to the conclusion.
Well, I like the improvements they made to the art and the art style, but it felt very weird to me to do it in pixel art. Like, it's just high res enough. It should have just been high res art, I thought, or they should have gone like even lower res. Because when I originally heard about Rebirth, it's like, oh, like they're gonna do Super Nintendo style, but not really. I mean, it's just like it's all like painted and then down resed, or just painted in low res with like, you know, typical brush tools. Like, it's not actually pixel art. From at least from what I can tell, like, you know, it's kind of like if I zoom way in here and then, like, you know, paint like this, and then, you know, that's not pixel art. You're not drawing it pixel by pixel. It's just, you know, like that sort of stuff. Like, I mean, it looks nice. I think it has pretty wide appeal, and they probably also managed to have a pretty low kind of just like low texture sizes, because everything is lower res. So maybe it was, honestly, I bet it was probably for more technical reasons, like just cheaper to produce the art, and doesn't take as much space on your computer or, you know, whatever device.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were, I think it's going to be on 3DS. So what did you say, Matt? Oh, the community voted on the look? I didn't know about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
What'd you say?
I said I didn't know that either. I thought they just went with it. I thought that was just Edmund's desire. He wanted it to be 16-bit, so they made it 16-bit.
I saw some mock-ups that he had done that looked way more 16-bitty. You know, way, like, even lower res, chunky, like actual pixel art. And you know, the final game doesn't look like that stuff. At least, unless I'm misremembering.
No, it's not very. I don't think it's very chunky. I don't know. I've put so much time in that game that the art doesn't seem different to me anymore. You know, like if I went back to the original Binding of Isaac, I'd be like, whoa, this is different. This isn't what Binding of Isaac really looks like. I've played to the point where the art no longer, like, it's no longer internal. It's just internalized. No, it no longer is. It just is what it is. Which I guess is the idea behind that. I don't know. That looks better with a blue scheme. They voted out of a few options, not happy with how it turned out. But Edmund's never been one for amazing graphics. I don't know. I think Super Meat Boy looks pretty good.
Was someone saying that on the the chat?
Fret Maddox said that. I should read their name before I say what they said. Yeah, I like how Super Meat Boy looks. I think it's pretty good for what it is. I like what Mutagenics looked like, but that's kind of been put on hold, so...
Oh yeah, I never knew what was up with that one.
They put it on hold to work on Super Meat Boy Forever, or whatever they're calling.
Oh yeah.
That. Not my kind of game, but to each their own, I suppose.
Which one? Mutagenics or?
Super Meat Boy. I'll definitely be getting Mutagenics when it comes out. If it comes out, I'll definitely get it. That looks a lot better with the gray and the blue.
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna have to make this. I mean, what if we actually did? I guess I should erase the word HAL, ice and ice and echo.
You want an ice and echo?
Yeah. What about that?
I think that works.
I mean, unless we have something else that's like an ice ghost of some sort. But I think this actually kind of works for that idea.
I actually had ice. I actually had Shiver Echo on the list.
Oh, what creature?
There's a I think it's called the Yuki Onna. Let me make sure that I'm saying the right name. It's a Japanese, Yuki Onna. They're a Japanese like ice specter, kind of like a siren.
We could do ice and muddle maybe for that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't know much about it, but it came to mind. So if you want to just put a note by it on that spreadsheet. So
sure, yeah.
We'll probably shuffle some of these around. So let's see what we've done a couple with water. We've done a Grim. I think we should do like Blast or Fury or Spoil, like one of the more violent elements next.
I think you should do Surge Fury.
What is that?
I just think we should make it up.
Oh, okay. So, water
I
and
think
fire, some kind of steam.
See, I was saying steam, but I was talking to Doom about it. He's like, wouldn't that just be steam as muddle? But I kind of, at least as I understand it, yeah, but muddle isn't its own element.
Well, what if we just did something that was like boiling water?
Yeah.
Like let's do a quick little Google search for. I mean, I know that the like Norse dragons, I believe, would breathe superheated steam.
Some of them, sure. Ifrit for blast fire. I would say Ifrit, which is like a fire genie, would be Splendor Fury. Blast is more explosions and lightning and stuff like that. It's not quite. Steam engine monster, if all. Yeah, it should definitely. I think it should be steampunky, like a steampunky dragon.
Yeah,
what do you think, Victor?
Yeah, if we can find some, I'm okay with taking another idea and making it steampunky as well.
Yeah, like a biological steam engine. Yeah, more lightning explosion and yeah. Fury is the fire elemental or the fire element and Blast is more like. I guess. Blast is more of a physical element than it is a metaphysical element like fire. It's a good way of thinking about it. The elements have all changed so much, it's difficult for me to keep them all in mind. The old Golem from Final Fantasy VI was a biological steam engine. You could also do Fury Foundation like a lava monster. I think you should use Salamander for that. Blast equals shockwaves? I think so, yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to read and listen, and I'm losing track of stuff.
Well, yeah, it's fine. Let me pull. I'll pull up the master list. This is what I'm here for. You should not have to focus on like 5 different things at once. I just forget where I put that in the drive. It's on the element sheet. Yeah, I think so. It's on Spectrum 10. But yeah, Blast would be like shockwaves and stuff. It's one of the newer elements too, so I don't know if it's quite pinned down on Blast equals Banshee. No, Banshee is definitely Echo. Echo is like the spirit element. Like literally it's an echo of life. Yeah, there's not something quite like Sonic. There's not quite like that from D&D. Ryo-kun is the one asking all these things.
I guess well if we did have something that was like shockwaves of sound, that probably would fall under Blast. Like I kind of see Blast as being somewhat like explosions, but also kind of thunder. So like the ability of sound to, like if sound shattered glass or something like that, that'd probably be Blast elementally. But I mean it gets into a lot of shades of nuance. So
yeah, a good way, especially for people who are maybe new to the stream, and since we're talking about elements and they're kind of involved, especially with the lore elements. They're not even going to be called elements as far as I know in the game. They're called temperaments. They're more like, instead of things being made of atoms, things are made from a convalescence of elements. Or what we call, elements is just a good loan word from other places that people will associate quickly with what they are intended to be. Like Fury isn't just fire. Blast isn't just a shockwave. Foundation isn't just a rock. Foundation is Earth. It is solid. It's more on a metaphysical and more literal sort of way to think about. Doom made a really bad pun. Wolven would hate Dubstep Beast because it constantly drops the bass. Since bass and bass are the same spelling.
Yeah.
Get out, Doom. Go away. Puns are not welcome. But yeah, Banshee as a familiar as a companion would be pretty cool. I would that would probably be Blast Echo. Be a pretty good way of putting it. Dem dad puns, yeah. Those are even beyond that. It's really bad. Doom, you should feel ashamed. You're thinking hippocampus for something?
I'm still kind of working on water plus fire.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there was something in mythology that was like a water creature that breathed fire, and I saw there was a picture of this seahorse breathing fire on that stupid blog type page that I was on previously.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, is there something related to fire breathing with these? So I thought I'd pull it up and see.
I never knew hippocampuses to breathe fire.
Yeah. I think it was just
of,
bad clip art that they pulled. So.
Yeah, a lot of Chinese dragons breathe fire and they're associated with water. Same with Japan. Oh, and they also breathe. A lot of the Japanese/Chinese dragons breathe superheated steam as well. So.
So did we have any ideas for something that could be kind of steampunkish or kind of mechanical looking, but also related to mythology somehow?
Well, I mean, there's Archimedes. And he apparently made a lot of mechanical monsters. But I can't think of too many like ancient clockwork things. Archimedes in present culture is the only thing I could think of. But again, that's kind of like a recent mythology, not quite a past mythology.
Oh yeah, some people kind of adopted, like how Da Vinci invents all kinds of crazy things in Assassin's Creed, sort of like, I guess Da Vinci at least drew plans for crazy stuff, but yeah, kind of appropriating real figures and creating mythology around them.
Yeah, that's something that modern people do for sure. Especially from the old Aladdin cartoon, Archimedes was a villain who did a lot of like clockwork stuff. There's always Talon. Oh, Talos. Well, Talos is interesting because there's a lot of different ideas about Talos. Well, Talos was a god, and then there was other mythology about him. Talos is a widespread, I guess, cultural zeitgeist entity. I wouldn't say he's more associated with like, I guess if you're talking about like the bronze statue, then sure, that was the Colossus of Rhodes sort of thing. Giant man of bronze who protected Europa and Crete from pirates and invaders. But there's other historical stuff like that. And Talos has been appropriated by like the Forgotten Realms, and I'm pretty sure he's in Elder Scrolls. So kind of a mix of modern and ancient myth. But I think Doom's talking about the bronze statue version.
Bronze statue version of what?
Of Talos. Just like a giant made of bronze.
Well, we might have to skip this one for now, because I'm not coming up with any good ideas for...
Okay.
Do we have something else that's fire and something already on the list?
You could go Fury Foundation, like a lava monster.
Do we have a name for one? I'm just.
You could. I would. Like the ancient salamander was associated with fire.
Well, I already have salamanders as some of the dragon types.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, we did kind of pencil in some kind of Cerberus monster under Fury and Mantle. I don't know why I did Fury Mantle, or maybe.
Well, because Cerberus is a chthonic entity. It lives in the depths.
So I mean, we could try something like that. See where it goes.
There's also the Bhuta Vahanya Yanta. I will have to look that one up while you, I guess, start penning stuff up. I have not heard of that. Oh, it's a Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, it was a robot, a mechanical robot. The Japanese had clockwork robots too, and there's the what's it called? The Japanese version was called Karakuri, but there was also, it started with an A. It was Arkanyesh device, something like that. You know what I'm talking about, Baker?
I do not.
It was a. Let me find the actual name. There it is. It's called the. I'm going to try to pronounce this and butcher it. Antikythera mechanism. Yeah, it was discovered from the Antikythera shipwreck of the Greek islands of that word. It dates to 205.
Can you send me a link to what you're looking at?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it actually just made me think of something related to Greek fire. Does Greek fire actually have a name? I know we don't entirely know what Greek fire even was, but if that has a name in Greek, I wonder, like, we could just make a monster based on that. Because I mean, they would use that in sea warfare, and
it was called it was called sea fire. But liquid fire. I'm trying to or manufactured fire. Pure is obviously fire. So it's like pure Thalesion. I can't speak Greek. Or pure Romacon, which is the Roman fire, or Polemicon fire, which is war fire.
Yeah, I wish they would just have like the Romanized. I mean, I guess they do kind of here. So which makes sticky fire, makes it seem like some form of napalm.
Yeah, that's basically what a lot of people think it was.
Yeah, so they're all compound words, so that's not as cool. But we could maybe come with something. Pure Thalassian.
Right, if you want to ask about Hindu entities, I don't think we have much in the way of Hindu elements in the mythology yet, or in the companion.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been kind of doing random searches, and so I guess we specifically looked up some Japanese stuff, so I would be fine with if someone has some ideas for, Hindu or anything like that.
Oh, there's definitely a fire, like a. Oh, I'm trying to think of the name. There's definitely an entity in Hindu mythology that was like a volcano god.
Or, maybe we should think, like, some kind of Fijian, volcano, like, kind of island god.
Oh, like a Hawaiian kind of thing, almost.
Yeah, any kind of, like, Pacific island, something that has to do with volcanoes or islands being created. I mean, surely there are some gods or beings kind of related to that type stuff.
Yeah, apparently my audio went to shit.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure what happened, but it got a little mechanical. It's not. I can still tell what you're saying. It just sounds kind of.
Okay. Might just be Skype. Yeah, Agni is a Hindu fire god for sure. Hopefully it'll just fix itself and I won't have to worry about it.
It sounds better sometimes and worse other times, so...
Yeah, it just might be the connection. Might not have any there. Hopefully that'll help a little bit.
Yeah, it does sound better.
Okay. Sometimes Skype likes to mess up. I will be told if it gets bad again, I'm sure. So for Cerberus, you're doing Fire Mantle or Fury Mantle? Well, Foundation now.
I think didn't I switch it to Mantle? It was originally Foundation.
No, the other way around.
No, it was originally Foundation.
Was it?
And
okay,
now it's Mantle.
so now it's Mantle. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Like I said, it's okay. Things have changed so much. Sometimes it's hard to keep everything straight.
Yeah.
It might just. I need to buy a new headset. This thing is dying so badly. So it might have just been like it's a USB cord, but it's been so battered and tattered that sometimes when it like moves, the connection in the wires gets disrupted. So it might have been from that too. I moved a little bit, so hopefully it fixed it. Those look kind of like gophers the way you're drawing them right now.
Gophers?
Yeah, just like the circular, like a saber-toothed gopher, almost. I'm sure once it gets coloring and stuff, one needs lava dripping out of its mouth. I think they should have like lava dripping out of their eyes and mouth. That's what Doom said, and I agree. I think that'd look pretty cool. And I guess we're going with Mantle because they're a chthonic entity.
Sorry, I forgot what that word meant.
Like underneath, it's like underworld gods.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay changing it too. Like, we could make it grim since they're since they're related to the underworld and the grave.
Yeah.
Did we already? But we already have. Well, I guess this would be Fury and then Grim, where we've got Grim and Fury for the bar guest. So.
Oh, you're making this Grim?
Well, I was saying we could make the Cerberus Fury and Grim.
Okay. I don't think Foundation's a bad idea. Grim might actually make more sense, but. But I wouldn't know what we would. I thought they weren't independent. I thought Fury, Grim, Fury, they were the same thing.
Oh, it makes our life easier if we can do both combinations, because then we can, yeah, we can have. But yeah, I had gone back and forth on that, just like how the elemental combinations kind of combine to make these guys, but
yeah.
Because we're still determining how it'll work in the game, like, kind of how you choose them, whether it's through a menu or...
Well, they'll be the Totem Master.
Yeah, we'll have there'll be a character in the jail, but then probably just like shrines throughout the dungeon. But I don't know, kind of in terms of user interface, like how the player will sort of select, like, oh, I want to combine Fury and Mantle, and it spits something out. I don't know how that part's gonna work yet.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Just keeping an eye on chat. That's definitely one of the larger, I guess. Maybe it just looks larger because it's got 3 heads. And
yeah, I mean it is. I probably need to modify its butt a little bit because I wanted there to be kind of like you can sort of see where the neck for the 3 heads sort of connects back there, but it just looks like a weird kind of lump of fur.
Mm-hmm. I really like the Wolver. I think that's my favorite so far.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like sometimes as these streams go on, like, I don't know if I just get fatigued or what, but I start running out of good ideas.
Well, we have run for an hour and a half.
Yeah, we'll probably. I'll see if I can wrap this guy up, and then we might close up shop for the day.
Yep. Especially if my internet wants to keep being goofy. So I'm even getting lag on the stream. So I think it's just one of those internet days.
Hmm.
Doom says we should add some like body pieces to the Wendigo and Wolver, since all the other ones kind of have like body parts as well.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. I hadn't really. I mean, I kind of like the ones that are just a head, but yeah, I guess the other ones do have some form of appendages. I mean, the Wendigo, like, I'd probably just give it little bitty bat wing.
Yeah. Maybe the fishing pole we can incorporate somehow into the Wolver. I don't know how that would be. I'm gonna post a straw poll for everybody in the chat.
Okay.
So if you guys want to vote, that is the straw poll for next week, where you guys can discuss, or I guess vote on the topic that we'll be doing. And they'll close. I mean, I can't officially close straw polls. I wish there was a better service I could use so I can actually like close them so that once they're done they'll disappear forever. But votes stop, I guess, on the first time I check on Thursday. That'll be the official end vote, whenever that happens to be. So, but I'd encourage everyone to do so, because audience participation is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, and if you have any ideas for elemental spirit creature things, like how I was saying earlier, feel free to post them on the forums. You said you were going to maybe start a thread about that, or
yeah, I'm going to do it right now while you're drawing.
I mean, this could be a kind of a cool way to track, like, you know, as I make more of these, because we'll probably keep doing this. I think this is like a fun topic to return to on streams, because it's just like, it's a bunch of like small creatures that are, you know, it's easy to come up with, or well, not that easy, but can be easy to come up with ideas for them.
Let me just needed to come up with a name. Okay. I'll edit the first post sometime later today. There you go. There is the... Just copy paste that. Since
we have problems with large hyperlinks in Twitch chat. Plus, I think if you keep Fire Foundation, or if your foundation makes our Cerberus a little different than other Cerberuses.
Yeah, well, and also, I guess if he has the magma eyes or whatever, maybe that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Or,
I like the little hairs. I think that's pretty cool. This is gonna be out of left field. Do you still have the butcher picture?
we've got a bunch of butcher pictures on the fridge.
Dude, there's one that you did on an art stream, but I forget which one it was.
Oh yeah, I've still got that on Dropbox somewhere.
Okay. If you could send that to me sometime later, I'd really appreciate it.
Okay.
That's one of like my favorite moments from the old streams.
Yeah.
Trying to get Kobe to draw a butcher.
Was that on the stream when he and I think, well, and like Katie, my fiance, drew one, and I think everyone who was in the office at that point? Was
yeah, your fiance drew one, and
okay,
Kobe
so that all
tried to
was
get
on
Kobe.
a stream. Okay.
Yeah. And then Nathan drew one, and then Kurt drew one, and then you're like, well, I guess I have to draw one now, and then you drew a quick doodle.
Yeah. Yeah, we've still got all of those. They are still on the fridge. I think mine was in Photoshop, so I've just got it digitally.
Yeah. You should. I don't know. The nose looks more like a saber-toothed cat with that nose, the triangle nose.
Yeah. I mean,
I really like the tusks. I think those should stay.
It kind of looks like a cat no matter what. I mean, I guess the pointy ears and like the... Basically, if you give it like that sort of shaped face, it...
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to make it look a little more like a terrier, I guess, or a... Let me look up
a three-headed terrier. The barkiest monster there ever was.
Yeah, like, okay, so what do I do to make this not look like a... But I guess, like, having Cerberus look a little bit like a cat isn't the worst thing. Like, it makes it a little more unique.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it looks terrible. Doom just said you should do something more snouty. I like it. I think it's cute. Yeah, rounding out the nose, maybe. Make it more like a heart-shaped nose, like most dogs kind of have. Because it's a good... Yeah, that works. That looks much more doggish. Looks like a weird blend between cat and dog. Not to be confused with that awful show from Nickelodeon. 2000 era cartoons are crap.
Yeah, it seems like there's kind of a resurgence of cartoons right now. Like, I mean, I haven't seen Steven Universe or Gravity Falls, but they're apparently pretty popular. And
yeah, they're huge. I haven't watched either of them either, but
I can't hear you, Matt. What did you say?
I was saying I just barely started watching Steven Universe just because I saw that Rogue.
Oh yeah, there was a rogue apparently in Steven Universe that looked like our rogue, and so that.
Mm-hmm.
And so Matt, I guess, started watching it for that reason. Yeah, and it's like a turn-based RPG on iPhone or something, based on Steven Universe.
Interesting. And Nathan was saying it was getting a lot of positive acclaim.
I think so. So Nathan, people are saying good things about it. Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, there's the term animation ghetto. I hope we're kind of getting out of that as we're starting to blend CGI and real world movies a little bit more. That looks much more doggish.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, I feel like there needs to be something else or something different. I mean, I think maybe the tail up above is kind of weird.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you mentioned another one, Adventure Time. Adventure Time is really popular.
Yeah, Adventure Time I've watched a decent bit of.
Me too. I really like Adventure Time. Well, I mean, I've liked what I've seen. I haven't seen all of it, but I like it. I love what maybe giving paws underneath the two heads might make it a little more doggy. Like, give it, like, dog paws.
Well, as we go along, I feel like I'm actually kind of trending away from giving them appendages. Like, I kind of like them just as these little floating head things, but this one does need something else. Yeah, I'm just... Because I don't want it to look like three separate creatures, which is the tricky thing. Like, maybe I should have made them, like, formed them in a different way so the heads were more like an amalgam of heads versus three distinct heads.
I think it looks pretty unified. I think people would get it.
I mean,
maybe
I could do something kind of like this. Sort of merge the, so the front one doesn't have ears. It just kind of like merges into the ones behind a little bit.
Yeah. They look adorably depressed.
Yeah, well, Doom wanted them to be, like, have lava coming out of their eyes, so it just makes them look all teary-eyed.
Yeah.
Doom says floating... depressed.
Doom says floating heads are no familiars, though.
What's that?
Doom says floating heads are no familiars, though. Sure they are. There's the orb critters from, Castle Crashers. They're kind of just floating, plump little animal faces. I like a mix of the two. I like them having little appendages, but I really like the Wolver head. I can't think of anything it needs.
Yeah, I think I would have to subtract something in order to add something else. Like, there's just no good place to, like, I mean, kind of, like, put some paws. Like, I could kind of squeeze some paws in. Like...
Yeah.
But it's just, like, there are too many details in this area to really effectively... I mean... actually, here's what I could do. I could kind of give him, like, little claw hands that are kind of just, like, wrapped around the fish. So you don't really see where they connect to him exactly.
I'm waiting for the stream to catch up.
Let me know what you guys think of this.
I really like the Cerberus.
It makes it kind of look like he's munching on the fish, so I could see something kind of like that.
He's just now catching up.
Yeah, that's pretty okay.
The delay is real. I think I'm out. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like that.
Well, and I'm just giving, like, two little stubby claw arms to the Wendigo, which is, it makes it, like, simultaneously more cute and more creepy and more owl-like, so that's okay.
Yeah, I like the Wolver. Yeah, I'll wait for the Wendigo too. But I like what you did with the Wolver with his hands.
Yeah. So I mean, now maybe I just need to rework this Cerberus. I don't know. Like I like the design. Like I like the cute little saber-toothed puppy dog thing. But I feel like maybe Cerberus should be something different. I don't know. And it looks a little too much like the Barghest, probably too.
Yeah, the color. Could you
and also now we're seeing, like, you know, Ryan has kind of standard character design features that he puts in his toolbox. Because if you put these next to each other, like this kind of looks like just a bigger version of the Cerberus. So that's because I mean, he's got flame eyes sort of, but it looks like their hair, and they've got saber teeth. And I think the Barghest is more inventive, so I don't know. Maybe we'll tackle this again next week, and I mean, I like part of the idea of this, but it needs something different.
Yeah. The Wendigo is way creepier now with those little legs. That is fucking horrifying. That is terrifying. I don't know. I know you like just the heads, but I think adding like a little bit of like the hands or the feet, I think that makes them look a little bit more like actual animals.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's getting close to 5, so we should probably go ahead and wrap up.
Alright, so thanks everyone for coming by to the live stream of Delver's Drop. I'm saying you can follow me and my work at A30Awesome on YouTube, or at VASAE on Twitch.
And I'm Ryan, a member of the Pixelscopic team, and Delver's Drop is still in development, but if you like what you've seen here, you can purchase the game right now and play it immediately, so even though it's not totally done, but you can go and do that at delversdrop.com/buy, spelled B-U-Y. And you're still breaking up, Visay, so I'll kind of wrap up the rest of the outro if you'd like for me to. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So we'd also like for you to be involved in our community on forums.pixelscopic.com. Visay is a moderator there, and you'll see us. I mean, I check in pretty much every day, you know, probably a few times a day. And yeah, check out the straw poll. I think you've linked that in the chat, correct?
Yes.
Or if you have ideas for stream topics, feel free to just post them on the forums or tweet at us or whatever. But we will see you again next week at 3 p.m. Central Time, and we're in Daylight Savings. So, till next time, see you then.